So scrolling through Facebook this morning, one of the groups I'm in is called Dysfunctional Veterans. And yes, we're all dysfunctional, whether you admit it or not. And those of us that have got a little healthier mindset, been out a little bit, we understand, yes, we're dysfunctional. Embrace it. Embrace the suck. Anyway, this individual was in a very select group of people in the Navy. And my hat's off to you. I don't know how you did that job. But anyway, the gist of the post was, I miss being in, I miss the camaraderie, I miss the brotherhood, I miss the service, I miss feeling a part of something. And that's the thing. That is the hard part about getting out of the military, coming off active duty. And it is an issue to a degree with the Guard and Reserve, but the Guard and Reserve, you live your life as a civilian until it's time to do drill, or it's time to do your 2-week training, or when you get your unit gets called up to active service, and then you come back. So you got this weird integration, right? And it's doable, but you can still miss it once you're done with it. You can look back on it when it's time to get out. Oftentimes you're so fed up with how toxic it is, all the abuse you put up with, and you're just done, right? You're ready to go. It's like when a person has been living with a narcissist or an abuser or a serial cheater, and they're finally burned out and they're done, and they're just done, and they're done. And when it's finally over, they're so happy it's over, they want nothing to do with it. But as time goes on and you reflect on the past, you start to see that yes, there were good times and there were things I miss about it. Same thing with the military. When you first get out, you're done. Like, that's it. I'm done with that BS. That was stupid. But as you get older and time goes by, and you realize that yes, you were a part of something bigger than yourself. And there was a camaraderie, there was a brotherhood. And yes, it did suck at times. A lot. It sucked really bad. And you start to get this weird nostalgia, and you start to really miss it. Kind of like a woman that had a kid, and they went through all that pain, and they're like, oh, that was the worst pain ever. But then a couple of years, like, hey, let's do that again. And guys are like, oh, we don't understand. Military's the same way. And you feel like, yes, I would do it again. I would go back in. But then when you start to really think about it, you talk to people there, and you're like, no, screw that. Say yes, but civilian life. It can be very daunting coming from active duty to civilian life, right? Much more daunting than going from civilian to military, because you are so ingrained into the lifestyle of active service that when you really sit down and think about it, yes, you look forward to having the freedom to just do whatever you want to, not have to answer to some petty staff NCO that just got nothing better to do but to screw with you. He's got a miserable existence, and he wants to project that miserable existence on you. But you realize, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to make it? And you will, and you can. And there's a lot of resources for you out there, but you got to learn how to get to them. And so people will say that when you get out, hey, you need to go to the American Legion, you need to go to the VFW, or the Marine Corps League, or whatever league or organization is there for people that were in your service or your special niche of service, like a submariner or special forces or corpsman. Which, yes, can be good, but also can be very detrimental. Because here's the thing, an alcoholic has to leave alcoholics to get better, right? They can't stay with the active drinkers, with the active alcoholics. They can go to the recovering alcoholics and get better. So an alcoholic can go to AA and still be an alcoholic, but be in recovery and be building a life that is worth something, a life of value, a life of growth. They can't do that. They continue to hang with drinkers that can constantly still drink. Same thing with veterans, guys. Sometimes the lack of belonging, the understanding that you are not a part of something like that anymore can lead you into a depression and into a thought process where you just want to hang around with people and just reminisce about it. And that's why you get these depressing American Legion and depressing VFW and depressing Marine Corps League posts. Yes, they do things that are good, but they can be very depressing places and hold you back and not help you get better. Alcoholics have AA, and they can go to AA and they can get better. And they've got people around them that can help them grow, help them walk through steps in a process to get better and get on their feet and be productive members of society and build a life that is worth living, a life they can be proud of. You can do the same thing getting out of the military. That is not the end all and be all of your existence. See, my granddad said something when the family was looking for a home for him to go live in. because he got to the point where he just wasn't able to live on his own anymore and take care of the house. And he refused to go to a veterans home. And he said, I will not go to a veterans home and live with a bunch of people who think the greatest achievement in life was their military service. And I get it. I agree with it. That is not the greatest achievement of my life, is being part of this. It's not. It is a great part of my life. It is a part I'll forever be proud of, and I'll forever be thankful of what I learned and what I experienced and the people I met and some of the things that it ingrained in me. But it is not the greatest. The greatest thing in my life was counseling couples and seeing marriages restored, raising 2 productive children that have become productive adults, of living a life out to them of being a faithful husband, a supportive father. Some of my greatest achievements have seen people come out of addiction and being well, of understanding that the perceived generational curse that they're living in can be broke, and that cycle can be changed. See, those things are far greater than my military service. Yes, the service is good and it's important and it'll teach you a lot, and it's very important in a necessity for our republic to have quasi-freedom. That's a whole other video right there. But anyway, but yeah, and a lot of you go to jobs to where you have that camaraderie, you have that fellowship, and you're a part of something bigger. That's why you see a lot of veterans that get into your harder blue-collar jobs, or will go into places like law enforcement or fire service or EMS, things of that nature. But guys, there is hope. There is a future. The military equipped you with the ability to think outside the box, to adapt, to improvise, to overcome, to find ways to make things work. And you need to embrace that and build a life upon that. And if you still feel helpless, or you don't know how to do that, or you need someone to talk to, there's a lot of us on social media that you can message and reach out to us, and almost all of us will answer you, will respond. We may not be the quickest. My notifications are turned off because I've seen amounts of messages across all social media platforms, and all combined. I just can't, especially with my job. I need times where I need to focus solely on my job. I can't be worried about my phone. But I will message you. I'm not going to ignore it. But just know this: there is life after the military. But you may need to get away from the people that were in the military to build that life. I know some of you guys that were in the military can get upset about that, but it's the truth. You can't recover and you can't grow if you're stuck in the past. Like the old adage goes, if you keep staring in the rearview mirror, you're going to miss the future, and it's going to be bad for you. So, yeah, guys, keep that in mind. There is life outside.